Welcome to another Admirals Q&A with Team President Jon Greenberg. First of all, I promise that there will be limited issues this time with the audio. Can't guarantee nothing, but we've taken all steps to ensure a quality broadcast.
Charlie's been here since 5 a.m. practicing.
I actually slept underneath this table last night. But we've got quite a few questions to go through. Obviously, people have a lot of questions about the move again to the arena. We've had an open house. People have had a chance to come down and check out the seats and move around a little bit. The ice wasn't in, but we had a good idea of where the blue lines would be, where the goals would be, and so on and so forth. So, first, let's just get your overall thoughts on how the open house was and some of the feedback you got there.
Yeah, I thought the open house was a huge success. Anytime you have an event where you don't have any idea how many people are going to show up, it's not like you're going to have a game and you sold tickets, so you kind of have a clue as to how many people are going to be there. In this particular instance, it was just that, an open house. Anybody could come down, and we were thrilled with the amount of people over that 4-hour period that we had come in. It was great to have some conversations with people, and I think in general, people were very excited about being able to see the building. I heard from so many people that night who hadn't been in there in 25 or 30 years. They hadn't had any event that they wanted to go to in that building in such a long time that I think they were pleasantly surprised with how it looked and the work that's been done and is continuing to be done in the UWM Panther Arena to make it a really nice place to go to watch whatever event you're going there to watch. And we're excited to be able to do more of those as the summer goes along, and continue to have customers who are coming to our offices, and our account executives are taking them around to the building to be able to see seats that they might be interested in sitting and moving into the fall.
So I think that's an interesting point that you just made. Yes, we're going to, and that's a question that's come up about other open houses. So yes, we'll have other open houses, but if those open houses don't fit in your schedule, call us. If you already have tickets, call your rep. You can come down anytime, as long as it's pre-scheduled and there's not another event going on at the building.
Right.
And you can come in and we'll take out in the bowl, and you can hop around and so on and so forth.
Yeah, we actually just confirmed the schedule for the remainder of April of availabilities for people to come down and have a personalized visit into the building. You need to set those up though through our office, and we encourage you to call us here at the Admirals office and talk to one of our account executives or our VP of Ticket Sales, John Bitter, or any of the members of his staff to find a time to come down. And you probably need 20 minutes to 30 minutes to kind of get the experience of what the building's about. And as you had mentioned, it's not going to be set up perfectly for hockey. There are other events that are going to be going on there. We've actually got we've got a concert this weekend. They've got a big dance convention in there next week. There's then another concert the week after in the Wisconsin Sports Hall of Fame. So there are activities going on in there that do limit our availability or our accessibility into the building. But if you give us a call, we'll find a time in the calendar that we have to get you in.
Sure. Let's go to some of these questions that we have. We already went through the open house part of it. With the move, this isn't directly about the move over here, but it brings up the possibility of potentially playing a game or two in Nashville, which we did back in the lockout year, the first NHL, well, not the first NHL lockout, the second one in 2005 or 2004, 2005. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, we actually have had discussions with the Predators over the last couple of years about finding a time to try and come down there and play a game where it's just part of our schedule. It'd be likely a home game for us that we would come down there and either play in the afternoon before they played, or play the night before when they play, and turn it into a whole hockey weekend in Nashville. we will continue to have those discussions to see if that's something that we can do. We do have teams in our league who do go play in their NHL buildings. Not everybody does that, and sometimes it's a proximity thing. If you're close enough to your affiliate that you can do that. In our case, it's going to require us to get on an airplane to go play a home game, which is kind of an odd thing for us to do. But we've got a wonderful relationship with Nashville, and people there are in tune to who their prospects are. They know who the guys are that are coming up the pipeline, and to be able to see those guys in person, I think is exciting to them, and it'd be great for us to be able to show our brand in Nashville. So it's something we'll continue to talk about, and we do have the ability to do that. So if we can work it out, we'd love to be able to try.
So the question from the open house specifically, they have a lot of railings at the arena in there, and depending where you like to sit, especially if you're in the end zones, those can obstruct your view of the ice. Any plans to help alleviate that at all?
Yeah, we actually that was the thing that was brought up at the open house by a couple of fans who approached me about the railings that they have there. I have two thoughts about railings. One, they are there for safety. So there's going to be some type of a barrier put there, for safety of fans. We don't
need people
falling over the side.
Yeah.
But we did talk to the building about that. That probably is not a first year project, because that is a significant project to do. Those railings are built into the concrete that are there. That being said, there are railings in the Bradley Center in a lot of places too. Not maybe in some of the places that they're in here. It's a different building, but there certainly are seats that are blocked by railings, or views that are blocked slightly by railings. And we've talked about potentially down the road, if there's some type of a plexiglass setup or something that maybe isn't quite as obtrusive. Not that it's awful by any means, it's not, but it is something that we have talked about.
Sure. Excuse me. Any thoughts on potentially changing the goal song or getting it comes from Troy. He wants a really loud goal horn that would reverberate throughout the arena and maybe even be heard in Sheboygan. I had that last part.
The Sheboygan.
The Sheboygan part.
Yes, well, it's funny that you bring that up about the goal horn in Sheboygan, because in youth hockey, the youth hockey world, when you go to Sheboygan and somebody in Sheboygan scores a goal, it's the loudest horn you've ever heard in your life. So
I didn't know that.
Yes, and so
See, I learned something.
There's a lot of youth hockey folks who, if they're listening to this, know exactly what I'm talking about, and it is you want to shut them out, because when they score, that horn goes off and it's loud.
That's shocking. Huh?
Yes, so it's funny that the question comes up about the goal horn, though, because we actually were discussing goal horns and goal songs and things like that in a meeting just within this week. So we do want to continue to make our game operation as good as it possibly can be, and coming up with a way to celebrate goals when we score them starting next year. We've got to work on a way to do that. And if it's a horn or a siren or something that really
catches you
and becomes a Milwaukee thing. I mean, I guess we don't want to have the same thing other people have, because then it's not ours. Yeah. So we want to make sure that we do the right thing. But it'll be fun to have a goal horn or a goal celebration testing at some point and figure out what the best things will be, and we'll make something that makes sense for the Admirals when we move forward.
Maybe we could have an online vote to see what they like best.
Always.
Parking we took a lot of questions on parking the last time, and that seems to come up. This one, in regards to parking prices, is there anything we can do to affect the price of parking around here? And if in general you just want to address the parking issue one more time.
Parking pricing on parking is really not anything under our control. We don't control the parking lots around here. The Bradley Center has some variable ticket price or parking prices depending upon the type of an event that's going into the building. You come to an Admirals game on a weekday, and the price is less than it is if you come on a weekend, or if it's a concert night, or it's purely economics. It's the supply and the demand. It's the amount of people that you're expecting to be downtown on a particular night that drive parking. I mean, it's just kind of a capitalist approach to parking. So, whereas some other markets may have more access to parking in and around their arenas, we are where we are, and there's downtown Milwaukee. We want to be a thriving and exciting place to be, and more people downtown is a great thing. That being said, the pricing of parking is going to be determined by the amount of people coming down to park in the lots.
Sure.
So, do I wish we could charge $2 for parking every night? Yeah, that'd be great, but we have absolutely no say in what people who own those lots wish to charge for the parking.
Sure. Panther Arena is a smaller building. Hopefully we're going to have some sellouts in there. Is this a logical move then to try and get some Admirals games on TV?
Yeah, television is something we discuss every year. And frankly, the size of the building didn't necessarily have anything to do with our decision on doing television. The cost of doing television is kind of where the determination of doing television.
Right, and maybe that deserves a little explanation also. Like, how does it work? How do we go about getting our games on TV as opposed to, say, like the Brewers? What's the difference there?
Yeah, well, obviously the Brewers, being a major league team, are able to garner a rights fee from a television broadcaster, in this case Fox Sports North. They pay them to actually put those games on the air, and
Fox Sports pays the Brewers
to put those games on the air, and
then they recoup that cost through commercials.
Through commercial advertising, and in our case, as much as I would like to think that people should be falling all over themselves and paying us millions of dollars to put our games on television, that's not practical. We in our market and throughout our league are going to be buying time on a television station to put the game on television, and then paying for the production of that game, which can be
two separate costs,
which could be on the upwards of $15,000 to $20,000 just to get the game on TV, and then trying to recoup the cost of
the airtime
in advertising is probably a challenge. All that being said, if we're able to strike a relationship with a local television station or a Time Warner Sports or anybody else in the market who has an interest in putting our product on TV and wishes to come to us with a proposal that would make sense, we would certainly entertain it, because I do think that putting games on television adds to your increasing your brand throughout the market. It also helps your advertisers to have more of a reach as well. So there are a lot of pluses to doing television, but at the same time there are real hard costs that are tied to that as well that have to be weighed into the decision.
Sure. This is sort of not necessarily related to the move, but do we have plans for like a men's night out or a women's night at a game from a promotional perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. Our promotions, we want to continue to do a lot of great promotions moving forward. That is a huge part of what we're about, and that's not ever going to change. I mean, we are going to continue to put together the best promotional schedule we possibly can. And I would tell you the promotional schedule that we are just finishing for this year, in my opinion, may be the best one we've had. It's been a great run this season, and I think the attendance numbers that have been tied to the back half of our schedules, really since January 1st, really reflect that. I mean, we're averaging almost 8,000 a game since January 1st. So You put those types of crowds in the Panther Arena every night, and you're playing at 90% capacity, which would be just electric in that building for sure. But all those types of promotions, we decide those things in the summertime. We're all trying to get sponsors to help us with getting those programs put together. Concession deals, those types of deals that might be tied to a guy's night out or a ladies' night out type of thing. We would certainly look at doing all those things and working with the concessionaire. I think this year the $2 beer nights started to really get some traction. So
And that's something that's going to happen next year.
we'll have a lot more availability, a lot more opportunity to do discounted food deals and things that get people's attention.
And even concession cards, that's never happened before. But now, if you get full season tickets, is that right?
If you have a full season ticket and you're paid in full for that full season ticket before, I believe, July 4th, you get a $100 concession card.
And that can be used. Is that just for food, or could it be for merchandise in the merchandise stand?
It's going to be used for any place where you can buy anything in the building. So it's an opportunity to really accentuate your visit to the arena.
That's quite a deal. I mean, if you full season tickets, you have a full season ticket. That's essentially taking $100 off of it, off the price of it when it's all said and done. From a net.
Sure.
Money perspective.
Absolutely. And that's per seat. That's not per account. So if you buy 4 full season tickets, you have $400 in concession cards.
Wow.
So that's
a lot of cotton candy.
That's a lot.
You get a tummy ache. We wouldn't encourage anybody to spend $100 on cotton candy. You at least have to get a water to wash it down.
Your dentist would not be happy.
No, that's certainly, or maybe it would be. If they want to take that extra trip to the Bahamas, maybe the dentist would. Just as a reminder to anybody, if you're watching online right now, you can submit a question right through YouTube, or just send us a message on Twitter at MKE Admirals, and we'd be happy to field those questions right now. As far as ushers in the new building, the Bradley Center has made some pretty good strides in the last few years with limiting movement while puck is in play. Obviously, you can't prevent someone from getting up out of their seats, but you can prevent people from going down and making sure that that they're not interrupting play. And so, is that obviously how is that going to be addressed with the new building? Are they going to have the signs? Because obviously hockey is a different sport than basketball is. I'm not sure if they prevent people from walking down the aisles during basketball games or not, but it can be a safety issue in hockey.
Sure. When we began that process, I think, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, where we asked to have movement restricted while the puck was in play when people were at the top of the aisles, basically the portals to come in. And so we developed the puck and play signs with the Bradley Center staff, and I would say that those are effective probably 95% of the time.
Yeah.
Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect, but that's a hard thing to do. If people, if an usher is taking care of something and somebody sneaks behind them, not like they're gonna,
chase them down, tackle them.
Right, exactly.
Probably not.
We do anticipate having puck and play signs, which will restrict people to waiting until the whistle before they head down to their seats, and that really is a safety thing, because when you walk down the stairs and you're heading down to your seat, one, you're not paying attention really to the play on the ice. Two, you get to your row and now you want everybody to get up so you can get to your seat. Now they're not paying attention, and occasionally pucks do fly into the crowd. It does happen. It doesn't happen like a foul ball at a baseball game where it happens 50 times a night.
Right.
But it can happen, and we want people to be as aware as they possibly can be that pucks do have a tendency to fly off the surface and into the crowd, and it's a great souvenir to have, but we prefer that you have it without.
There's no blood on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or if there is blood, it's from the ice.
Yeah, exactly.
Or something that happened on the ice.
But we're fan safety will always be our number one priority, and making sure that people when they come to the game are comfortable, but they're paying attention to what's going on the ice. We have those announcements at the beginning of each period to remind you that the puck is in play, so pay attention.
Yeah.
And hopefully that people will do that. But in terms of people walking in and out of the, you're 100% correct. If somebody wants to get up and come out,
There's nothing we can do.
because that's, yeah, you hope that they'll wait till a whistle, but it doesn't always happen. I mean, you know, my kid needs to go to the bathroom. They need to go. It's time to go.
Yeah, yes. Do that. If your kid has to go to the bathroom, let's not gamble and lose, right? we don't want that. Wi-Fi in the new at the UWM Panther Arena. Will there be Wi-Fi, public access Wi-Fi at the Bradley Center that there currently isn't?
There will be, and we're excited about that. There are currently about 30 different access points in the seating bowl of the UWM Panther Arena. They are looking to increase that by 10 to 15. Basically, each access point will accommodate about 100 people, and so if we get another 15 of them, essentially that accommodates 4,500 people, which essentially is about half the crowd if the crowd is sold out.
Yeah.
So, you know, if half the crowd is on their phone at the same time, it would still work. If 6,000 people are trying to be on their phone at the same time, that's going to be tough no matter what environment you're in.
Yeah, just like if you go to a concert at anywhere, there's limited bandwidth for people to access.
But I would say that this arena has done a really good job of staying up with the times from a technology standpoint, if not staying up with them, actually being ahead of the curve.
Sure.
And that's something that we're really excited about, because I think having that type of connectivity is so important to the fan experience. And some of the things that we would probably like to do as we move forward, being tied to people being able to do things on their phones.
To get to their phones and being able to connect.
Yes, so we're excited about where that stands.
Yeah. Will there be an in-house audio feed to listen to Aaron's call of the game?
You know, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked me that question, Charlie. Frankly, I hadn't thought of that until it was brought to my attention a couple days ago, and I'm glad it was, because I do think that that's important. I know there are people who like to be able to listen to the game, and you know, if you're listening on the radio, it's a little delay compared to if you're actually there watching it in person,
Right.
but you want to hear what's going on. So that is something we are talking to Wisconsin Center District about, making sure that that technology can exist,
available,
so that people will be able to hear, you know, the best play-by-play guy in the American Hockey League call the game.
Right.
And one other question that also came up tied to that was having that feed available in a speaker system on the concourse, in the restrooms, that
sure.
type of thing. So that's something we're going to be talking about as well. We haven't started those discussions yet, but we'd like to be able to make Aaron's call available. Like if you go to Miller Park, you hear the radio broadcast if you're
Wherever
on the
you
concourse. We'd like to see if we can do that in the UWM Panther Arena too.
Yeah. Great story about Ken Double with those with the speakers too. If anybody remembers Ken Double, he was the broadcaster for the Houston Aeros. He got into a little bit of trouble because of that one time, but a story for another time, I would say.
That's after hours.
When do you anticipate construction of our new locker room, or the new locker rooms, because there'll be Admirals locker room and then the visitors locker room? When is that going to start, and are fans going to have a chance to check those out?
Yeah, construction will begin in June, right after graduation season ends. There are a number of graduations that go on in the UWM Panther Arena. UW Milwaukee's graduation, Marquette has some graduation in there. The Medical College of Wisconsin has some graduation ceremonies. Those all take place in May, but then in early June, Milwaukee Public Schools, a bunch of the high schools do their graduations in the Panther Arena. So as soon as those are all done, construction will begin in earnest on those locker rooms, with the goal of obviously having them done for October when we get back here. And will tours be available, or people be able to see it? Yes, likely at special events. Excuse me, at special events that we'll do likely for season ticket holders that we've done in the past, whether it was our ticket pickup party or our holiday party, those types of events where people got a chance to see the locker room or go in and for chalk talks with the coaches or that sort of thing. And trust me, we'll want to show it off. I mean, it's going to be awesome when it's in there, but construction is going to start in June.
Gotcha. We had a concert last weekend, great concert with Dennis DeYoung singing the music of Styx. Nothing but hits coming out of him. So the question that came up, we can't, if we had that crowd we had Saturday, it would have sold, we'd have sold out. We're capped at whatever the capacity is, 9,600 or so. Are we going to raise individual ticket prices to basically bring in acts, to bring in people to pay for the concerts?
Well,
I should say not to raise them just overall, but just raise them for that night, variable
pricing, which is becoming very much a norm throughout the sports world. When you have large events or specific events that you expect to do well, you'll raise the price of the tickets for those particular games. Our goal is not to do that every night. Just because we're playing Chicago on a Friday night doesn't mean we're going to say, oh, we're going to charge an extra $5 because we're playing Chicago on a Friday night.
Sure.
Our goal is to remain as affordable as possible. That being said, concert nights may be a little bit of a different animal. Those final decisions haven't been made as of yet, but the best way to alleviate any worry about that is to buy season tickets.
Sure.
Or buy voucher plan.
Right. Even if you have a voucher plan, you're not paying the difference.
Correct.
Even though you don't have your tickets ahead of time, right?
If you buy fulls, halves, or flex plans with us, that's your ticket price and what you've paid, and that's a discounted ticket price over the face value as it is. And then our single game ticket pricing, we will have to make some decisions about what we're going to do on those types of nights, where we may have an ability to bring in an act that we'd like to bring in, but we need to make sure that we have a way to cover the cost of that. So variable ticket pricing is absolutely a discussion we'll be having as a staff here over the next month or two.
Last question doesn't necessarily relate to the arena, but it is germane to what's going on right now, and that's the playoff schedule. Can you just give an update, a rundown on how that works? How do these games get scheduled, and do we have any idea when we might be playing?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm very excited that we're back into the Calder Cup playoffs again. It's been, let's say our long nightmare is over of one season of not being in there. It was a long summer.
Streak halted at one.
Yeah, it was a long summer last year not having playoff hockey.
Yeah.
And so we're excited to be back in, and we have currently scheduled scenarios with each of the potential teams that we could play. Our goal is to continue to win so that we can hopefully be the division winner, which would give us home ice advantage for the first two rounds of the playoffs. And then if we were lucky enough to keep winning and have Ontario out west lose a few games, we could actually win the conference and have it for the first three rounds of the playoffs. Right. The problem we have is that teams 2, 3, and 4 in our division
are tied right now.
Lake Erie, Rockford, and Grand Rapids, basically separated by like
they're not
two tenths of a.
Oh yeah, because the percentage.
Thousands of a percentage.
They all have 88 points right now.
Right. So we're hoping for a little more clarity after the weekend. Maybe have some separation of some of those teams, but I could easily see this coming down to the last weekend. The way that the playoffs are scheduled is in the first round, if you are within or less than 300 miles away from your opponent, you play the traditional 2-2-1 format. So if you're the higher seed, you play the first two games at home, then you go play two, and then you come back home for game 5 if it's necessary. If it's
who would we play that would fall into that radius?
Grand Rapids and Rockford are where that takes place. If you play somebody who's more than 300 miles, i.e.
Lake Erie,
then you play a 2-3 format to limit the travel so that you're not going all back and forth, which gets to be very expensive. How that works, however, is if it's the 2-3 format, the team who's the higher seed has the choice of whether they want to play the first 2 games at home or have the last 3 games at home. We've selected to have the last 3 games at home.
And that's almost always what happens.
Almost
right?
always what happens is, the higher seeds almost always, and this is the only round where that takes place.
Sure.
Because then we move to best of sevens the rest of the way, and then it's a traditional format moving forward. So we have a scenario set up with Lake Erie where we've got the back 3 games. But the other 2 scenarios with Grand Rapids and Rockford, we have the first 2 games if we're the higher
Assuming
seed.
we're the higher seed.
Yes.
If not, then
It all flips around.
Right.
But if we win a couple more games, hopefully we can get ourselves locked in to
right.
being that number 1 seed.
Magic number to clinch the division is at 6
Right.
now, 6 points.
Right. So hopefully if everything went well by Tuesday night, we're at least got that, done, and we can at least know that we're going to be the home seed for at least a couple rounds if we're that fortunate to get there. We just don't know who we're going to play and necessarily
When it would be.
Playoff packages are on sale right now. If you know you're going to be coming to the playoff games no matter what, I encourage you to get those. Call our offices to say I want to buy a Calder Cup playoff package. You buy that package, and then any games that aren't used,
So if you buy a package, you have to buy every 15 possible games. You have to buy all 15.
you buy 15.
But
you get them at a discount, first of all, and I will tell you that the discount, by the time you get to rounds 3 and 4, is significant. The money that is left over, the games that we don't play, is in your account, and you can apply that to your season tickets for the next season.
sure,
A lot of people do that, and it's
almost a way of starting a payment plan.
Exactly, and it's a great way to make your season tickets more economical. Obviously, we hope that we play into June and use up as many of those games as possible, because that's good for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
We're still playing hockey, we've got a chance to win something, and it's exciting.
Right.
And then you'll be so excited that you'll want to buy twice as many season tickets as
Probably.
you have for the next season. So that's kind of how all that works, but playoff ticket packages are on sale now, and we've sold quite a few. Got off to a good start. We started that actually about 3 weeks ago.
Even before we clinched.
Yes, because we were having a good season. We didn't put the jinx on ourselves. So we've been fortunate enough to get off to a really good start of that. But if you want to be able to try and lock in your seats, the best way to do that is to buy the playoff ticket package, because it's just like having season tickets. You've got season tickets for the playoffs.
Sure.
And you can guarantee your seats that you have for
For
those
every
games.
game. Yeah. And if we know when we're playing, say we don't know who we're playing, but if we know when we're playing, will we have individual tickets on sale for those games?
Yes, as soon as the league will sign off on all of the scenarios. Right now, they've all been submitted to the league by the teams who've agreed to them.
But the league ultimately has the final say.
The league has the final say, because expenses have to be reimbursed by the league during the playoffs. So you want to make sure that they're on board with what you're trying to do.
Sure.
Because otherwise teams would be coming up with some crazy scenarios to play the games, and it wouldn't be cost effective for the league.
Sure.
But we may be putting tickets on sale for games 1 and 2 next week, without knowing when they are.
Sure.
So excuse me, we would like to be able to get the word out on potential playoff games as soon as we know when they are. But if you want to just take a guess, or know that you're going to be coming out for playoff hockey, then you should certainly consider buying a package, or the first 2 games for sure.
Sure. Okay, great. I think that's all the questions. We're through all the questions that were submitted. And anything else you want to add?
No, I'm excited that we do this. I actually think that this is a great way for us to communicate with our fans, and I hope that not only because we're doing this now for the move to the UWM Panther Arena, but I'd like to be able to maybe do this periodically throughout the season. People have questions,
Sure.
from wherever around the country. We were joking before that.
Someone might be watching in Finland right now.
Yes, so good evening in Finland. I wish I knew how to say that in Finn.
I know.
But in Finnish. But I hope that wherever you're watching, we thank you for your support, and we're excited to be able to do this, and we're excited about the future of Admirals hockey.
Great. Thanks so much for joining. we'll let you know when we're going to do this again.